Flip between the channels, or nowadays, browse between your streaming options, and a trend emerges.
You must be out your mind.
I'd ride or die. It's been too long.
Some of the most familiar faces in comedy all call Northeast Ohio home. From Community's Yvette Nicole Brown
I am probably the biggest cheerleader for Cleveland.
to Steve Harvey, George Wallace, Kim Whitley.
Cleveland is funny. All writers say, when you say Cleveland, it just sounds funny.
Not to mention Arsenio Hall. They all found their own in the neighborhood, on campus, and in the comedy clubs of Cleveland and Akron.
As a kid, I idolized Johnny Carson. When most kids in Cleveland wanted to be football stars like Jim Brown, I wanted to be an old white man with a talk show.
But we had a place to go and to do comedy. And one thing Cleveland was good for, I don't know if it ever happened to you, but in high school and in grade school, you joned on people. We had the mama jokes, we talked back and forth.
We spoke with some of them to look back on how humor here helped shape them.
So I think some of it is just, surviving, the tough parts of Cleveland. And that is not a disparagement of our town. I am so grateful that it wasn't always easy, because nothing in LA is easy. And so I learned in Ohio how to survive every type of circumstance.
We also wanted to learn what it is that makes Northeast Ohio prime for comedy.
I think it's the weather. I think it gets so cold that we have to find a way through it, and we're cracking jokes.
If you can't laugh in Cleveland and Akron, you have to be. Everybody here should be a comedian. Living here, are you kidding?
Back in the 70s, George Wallace was at the University of Akron. Well, at the same time over at Kent State was Steve Harvey and Arsenio Hall, each one finding their footing and reasons to make people laugh.
We're the Cleveland Browns. I was here when the lake caught fire. You're young, okay? There's lots of things you can think about when you're in Cleveland and Akron, Ohio, and Canton, Ohio. Football Hall of Fame, just so much to laugh about here.
And if you haven't figured it out by now, Cleveland and comedy doesn't have 6 degrees of separation. It's like 1 or 2. Yvette Nicole Brown found her inspiration at Warrensville Heights High School.
Arsenio was in our Hall of Fame. So every day walking to class, I would walk by his face in the hallway, and I would be like, oh man, one day I want to do enough to be up there with Arsenio.
Last year, Brown starred on Bounce TV's Act Your Age.
I knew something like this would happen dealing with you. We going to jail. Relax.
Her co-star Kim Whitley grew up in Shaker.
I think the love that we get in Ohio, they don't have big cities. I really feel like it is all the love and the family and the friends. You grow up free, pretty much free to be who you are.
More than 2,000 miles separates Hollywood and Northeast Ohio. But these smiles prove the laughs here can make it anywhere.
I think that Clevelanders appreciate comedy, they celebrate comedy, and they support comedy.
In the heart of comedy, known as Cleveland.
If you get a laugh in Cleveland, you're doing something.
CLePard, News 5.